Welcome to the Sex Positive Podcast, Episode 6. That band was A Great Big Pile of Leaves. I think they still live in Pittsburgh. They're like a mathy, I call it art rock in my opinion. It's not necessarily math, it's not necessarily just rock. It has more like of an art feel in a way. As if art students made a band because they couldn't join the actual band camp. So I really like that band. I actually got approval from the drummer himself, Tyler. So I really appreciate him and letting us use his music. So that's really cool. I think they're on tour right now, actually, throughout the country. So if you go on A Great Big Pile of Leaves, I will annotate in the notes how you can get in contact with that band. Definitely see them. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because those guys are epic. So RJ has some thoughts. About love. I like to know that someone is there for me when times are tough, to hold me when I am scared, but not looking for each other to constant validation. I like having someone to snuggle. I don't think about it beyond that. And that's from RJ. So here's some advice from a website called datinggigo.com. I thought it was kind of interesting. They kind of have like a generalized kind of ideas on dating and kind of, what you should do to find the right kind of partner or, kind of where you'd like to go. So here's what they kind of have going on. If you're half-hearted, you will face rejection. Yes, your partner will be able to detect half-heartedness in you. Are you really serious to date someone? If you are serious, take some preparation. Do some research to understand how to make a date awesome. You can make special meals, go to a nice restaurant, watch movies together, etc. If you are not serious, it's better not to involve yourself in a date. Respect the time, interest, and emotion of the other person. I wanted to read that because it assumes that people are, number one, monogamous, number two, only date one person, and number three, can't just meet a person at a bar or meet someone out and about, take that person on a date, and never talk to them again. It's not bad, it's just life. We meet people on the street every day. The pizza guy, the girl at a coffee shop who's selling the coffee. This idea that long-term love is less valuable than love in an instant, in my opinion, would be attributed to the patriarchy. Essentially, male-dominated white bread ideas that, you have to be a white guy, you have to have an accounting job, and then you have to marry the prom queen, and, then your lives will be happily ever after once you marry her, obviously, and, knock her up with 5 kids. It's a farce. It's complete bullshit. And further on from the website, join or go to places where like-minded singles go. Without action, you cannot get your dream what kind of writing is this? You cannot get your dream soulmate. If you're just staying indoor and playing video games or gossiping with your best friends, you have to depend on your luck to get a girlfriend or boyfriend. But if you join clubs, dating websites, and similar places, there is high likely, it's like a 14-year-old wrote this, to meet many singles who are looking for a person like you. So go ahead, join a dating website, a club, where singles frequently join and go. Attend singles parties, etc. Remember that without action, you have to be happy with only whatever luck gives you. Improve your look. It is important that maybe your personality will attract the other person, but there is more than that in dating. If you look good and or polished, you will feel more confident and comfortable. Ask yourself, will you be interested in dating a person who looks dirty, shabby, or careless? The answer is no, right? So take care of your look, such as get your hair cut, wear nice clothes, go to a gym, try beauty treatment, and if you look good, your partner will feel more confident and comfortable to take and introduce you to his family and friends and colleagues? God, that's horrible advice. I mean, okay, I can understand how your inner self-worth is based on yourself, right? Your objective morality of what you feel you have value in of yourself. So, like, when I look at the tattoos that I have, I really like that I have Hawaiian tattoos. I don't have Hawaiian tattoos because I want someone else to say, oh, those are awesome Hawaiian tattoos. I'm a Hawaiian anthropologist. Tell them, I know everything about Hawaiian stuff. I really don't care. What I care about is the fact that I have these tattoos because I want them and I love them and I enjoy them. For me personally, it's selfish. Self-value is something inherent to ourselves. This idea that your confidence comes from someone else, and in a way, if you don't dress up in a mini skirt with a bustier and get a haircut, a guy won't date you. Well, actually, kind of the opposite. I know a lot of guys that when they see a girl in gym clothes, kind of sweaty, just out and about, or just in their frumpy clothes, as they're called, in their home clothes, those sweatpants with the holes in them, and some old boyfriend t-shirt from some weird band that you've never heard of, that's pretty cute. So, I don't know. You take it as you guys want. This is from Julian. About love. I see a lot of parallels between love and business. I think economics explains parts of dating and love exceptionally well, which isn't to say that love is crass or commercial, but elements like supply and demand, spontaneous orders, and even monopolies are visible in love as in business. So, if you're not familiar with the economic term of spontaneous order is, say, that there's a checkout line, and somehow there is a line that swirls outside of the building. Spontaneous order is a bunch of people lining up together to positively, so what they're not doing is they're not fighting each other or punching each other in the face or going up to the owner of the store and saying, oh, is it okay if I stand in this line? Spontaneous order is something that just happens by people's nonviolent actions. So some spontaneous order would be someone that maybe drops their coffee also, and then they go and help them, and then, oh, hey, here's my card, check out, my accounting firm, or, here's my, my band, or, hey, you're really cute, let's go on a date. So spontaneous order kind of controls our lives in a different way. It's not bad, it's not good, but it's an economic term that does explain a lot of our lives, and we should also think about our lives don't need to be planned all the time. I mean, we have enough government planning as it is, and, parental planning, and, what am I going to do with my life? Well, maybe sometimes you just don't need planning. Maybe you should just not have planning. Use spontaneous order. So just drive somewhere and find a place and go there. Meet people. I'm not sure who this is from. I got it, and so here it goes. About love. The only thing I can think of is that I think there is still a stigma regarding online dating. People are afraid to try it or don't want to admit that they're doing it. I understand that there are some horror stories, but if you use good judgment, just as you would in non-online dating, I think it can be a fun experience. I personally have no horror stories with online dating and have met many great people, to include my wife. Our first wedding anniversary is tomorrow. Smile emocon. Oh, that's from Jay. Yeah, my buddy Jay sent me that. He is off gallivanting around the world right now, doing his thing. So as the drunk ex-pastors have a Bieber moment, here's my Bieber moment. So I was talking to a friend about, what they do for dating and stuff like that. And they were like, oh, yeah, well, she's a girl. And she's like, oh, yeah, I go on Tinder or whatever. And I'm like, Jesus. It's like, I can't stand this website. So a lot of these, if you don't know, Tinder is basically a location-based dating app where you can meet people that are around you. So you put your profile on there and you say, hey, this is who I am. Meet me, right? Well, it's based off of location in a sense, so you kind of have to know your demographics, which is, I think, more important with using it, because if you live in a place where it's mostly male-dominated, in any case, the United States, I think men outnumber women by, I think it's 7 to 10. So there's 7 more men in a room than there would be than women. Whereas in Russia, it's completely the opposite. Women outnumber men there, and it's great for guys because this is why a lot of people who describe Russian men describe them as male pigs and chauvinists, and they do whatever the hell they want. It's because, they're outnumbered, and they really can date whoever they want. So then I've met Russian women who come here, and they're like, yeah, I do whatever the hell I want. I meet a guy and never really talk to him, or I date whoever I want. I have 5 or 6 boyfriends. And I find it interesting, because nobody really talks about the demographics of our country, because America is the best, and internationalism. So I just thought that was really interesting. And on Kink and Code is a website. If you go to it, it's KINK and code.com. And here's a new article. How to overcome a sex-negative upbringing. Oh, cool. This is from Kathy Resmus. I'm trying to get her on the show. Eventually, I'll get her on here. I'm having some technical difficulties with the fact that recording conversations is not exactly the most easiest thing. So, from Kathy. Over on Reddit Sex Positive, there is a heartbreaking story about a girl, I think, who is having trouble overcoming sexual shame and stigma from her upbringing. Whereas mine came from more the church and the culture than from my home life, it's still a struggle with which I empathize. As we've discussed in this column, the idea that sex is inherently meaningful sex negativity is probably pretty neutral in and of itself. But posts like this illustrate how the superstition justifies all kinds of beliefs about sex, which end up being pernicious. People use the idea that sex is inherently meaningful to justify the belief that certain kinds of sex are morally wrong. So obviously the first step towards overcoming sexual shame and stigma is to reject the idea that sex is inherently meaningful and necessary, has any moral significance. That doesn't mean that you can't assign meaning to sex, but it does mean that sex means varies from person to person. So if you want to have sex with more than one person, or a person of the same sex, or casual sex, or only monogamous sex, or no sex at all, those are personal choices which are not necessarily good or bad in any general or universal sense. But saying that intellectually and living it out are two different things. So here are some tips for overcoming sex negative upbringing, and fully embracing sex positivity. Leave and cleave. The fundamentalist evangelical church is a hotbed of sex-negative teachings. Ironically, we find in some of its teachings on sex strategy for overcoming sexual superstition. In Matthew 19:5, Jesus is quoted in saying, "Have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female? For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother to be joined to his wife, and the two shall become flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let no man separate." The fundamentalist evangelicals' takeaways are generally that divorce is bad and you should put your spouse's needs above your parents'. But I think another thing to glean is that you should put your sexual needs above your parents' comfort. And here For this reason, a man shall, and here you can sub-parents for teachers, friends, the church you grew up in, whatever groups of people or institutions you feel like might be uncomfortable or put you down to trying to fulfill your sexual desires. Leave those and cleave to yourself. Really take yourself and your needs seriously, instead of trying to sacrifice for people who really don't have any need to judge you to be part of your sexual decision making. So if you want to read the rest of that article, that is on Kink and Code, and the title of it is How to Overcome a Sex-Negative Upbringing. Kathy Reisenwitz is one of my heroes. She is a libertarian, a celebrity. She's a libertarian who's also a celebrity. And she's not as famous as like someone say Ron Paul, but she is a libertarian celebrity in my mind. She has a column and she has like her own website, and she's really involved in politics. I find her really interesting. I think you guys would too. Definitely check that out. I hope you guys have a safe weekend. Let me know what you guys want to hear about, what topics you guys would like to discuss, and also what bands do you guys like. I really like A Great Big Pile of Leaves, so I hope you guys like them too. Please have an awesome weekend and stay safe. Bye.
Drive around for hours with no direction, and the books I have to ask to intertwine ourselves in a situation